A very good evening to you, or whatever time of day you're watching. This is our continuing preview of Gaelic football in the county of Armagh. The championships are coming to fruition. The finals of the ladies will be coming up this weekend. We'll be hearing about Clann Eireann versus Carrickmore. It's happening in Armagh, in the athletic grounds, on Saturday. 5 o'clock, I do believe the throw-in is. There are a couple of semi-finals coming up too. Maghery will challenge, of course, the great Crossmaglen in one semi-final, and in the other, it's going to be between Granemore and Killeavy, who will rule the roost on that occasion. Well, we get the preview and thoughts of some of those involved in the organisation, if you like, of Gaelic football in the county. We have one of the leading Ladies Gaelic Football Association members here, the chairperson of that, and we'll hear who that is in a moment or two, and a few other people involved in Gaelic football, not just here in County Armagh, but in County Down. I'm going to hand you over to the very esteemed, do you like the word esteemed? I don't know what it means, but it sounds important, of Eugene Creaney, who's going to take us through the evening. And we're going to talk ladies football first of all, and then, the men's football afterwards. I'm Donagh McKeown for Eire Og. Thanks for joining us. Eugene Creaney will now take us through the evening's proceedings.
Very warm welcome to the Ashburn Hotel in Lurgan. And the introduction was done there by esteemed Donagh McKeown. Eamonn Quinn's behind the camera. We're at time of the year again where the excitement of the club champions was building up. We've all seen Armagh's fantastic year with Armagh ladies and Kieran McGeeney's Armagh senior team. Unlucky in both parts, maybe not to win in All Ireland, but we've got some fantastic guests here as we did last year. We're moving forward into the club championship season where all the excitement of the semi-finals and the finals are taking place. At the far side there, needing no introduction, is the chairperson of Armagh Ladies, Sinead. Sinead, you're very welcome.
Thanks,
all the way from South Armagh. Caroline Henry. Caroline, you had a great opportunity there a few weeks back with the Ladies Mothers for Others competition in Eire Og. Went really well for you. In the corner, current Wolf Tones manager Peter Nugent, who won an intermediate championship with Greens a couple of years ago. And beside me here, another man needs very little introduction, Patrick Morrison. Patrick would be the goalkeeping coach for the best club team in Ireland at the minute, Patrick Kilcoo. You're enjoying your time up there.
Yeah.
You really are.
Yeah.
You're making a difference to him. You got over the line yesterday in the club championship of County Down. Sinead, for the people from this end of the county who may not be familiar with it, what happened in Killeen in your training pitch? How did it come about, and what was the driving force behind it?
Well, first of all, people in South Armagh call it Killian, but no, look, we had to find somewhere for the girls to train and get a base, so basically instead of asking clubs continuously to help us out, which they were, so you had girls travelling from one end of the county to the other and not knowing where they were going to be from one night to the next, so we had approached another club to go on board and it didn't work out, and then it was actually my dad had said to me, Killian pitch is lying over there and it's not being used, and so I went and approached the people of Killian and basically spoke to them. I live in that parish, so I knew who to go and speak to, and it basically just started the ball rolling literally. So we're now 3 years down the line, and we're floodlights are lit, not officially, but they're lit. So we're hoping to have a big night now in a couple of weeks. So we're well on down the line with it, thank God, yeah.
And do all the teams train there, Sinead?
Just all the county teams. So your development squads and your 14s, 16s, minors, and then your senior team.
Mm-hmm.
Killian also then themselves have rejuvenated. So St Michael's have set up as well. So we have a good relationship with them as well, and we work alongside them also. So we've taken them in as users on the lease of it,
Yeah. Well, we're right in saying that you're probably the first county in Ireland, the whole association, to have your own training facility.
Yeah, as far as we know, we've done a bit of homework on it, yeah, and we seem to be the first county that has, decided to make this step forward. There's people maybe leasing certain grounds, and I know Waterford have bought ground. I don't know if they've done much more about the ground itself, but we seem to be the first county that have pushed on with it, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So basically this time of the year you're pretty busy with your committee. Mm-hmm. A lot of hard working girls involved and men as well. So your club would be Silverbridge?
Yeah.
Silverbridge. How did you get involved in ladies' situation at the start then? I mean, through your family obviously.
Well, me and my dad actually started ladies football in Killeavy in 1990, so it's going quite a while. So I played right up till 5 years ago, I suppose, competitively, and now I play Gaelic from others, so it's great crack actually. But so there was nothing else in our house, only football, so you had no real choice. So whether if you didn't get a lift to training, you were cycling down, so you were training and that was it. So I actually played for a club in Uri, and Dad sort of got sick of running me in and out in Uri, so he decided to start ladies football in Killeavy in 1990. So it's thriving up there since. Yeah.
Well, just beside you there, Sinead, I'll come back to you in a second. Caroline Henry. Caroline, your dad would probably be better known than yourself, the famous referee, Barney Henry, well known throughout the county. Refereed quite a few big games, but you had a big event in Eire Og a few weeks back. I know you're looking forward to the championships this weekend with Clann Eireann in it and all the teams in junior, Carrickmore as well, who would have a great opportunity to win it too. But you had a great event, basically, before we moved on to the club championship. You had a great event in Eire Og a few weeks back. Sinead headed on a second ago. Could you tell us what that was about?
Yeah, just like Sinead was saying, we have started Gaelic for Mothers in Eire Og last year. We just had a lot of interest over the last couple of years getting back into ladies football, so there was huge numbers and a lot of interest in it, so we started last year. This year then we started to organise just a bit of a blitz. It just started out small. It was only 1 or 2 teams were going to come along. My sister, she looks after a club up in Donegal, so she had come down, and then a few local more teams, Sarsfield, St Peters, Wolftones couldn't make it, Breda from Belfast come down, St Michael's Marilyn. So yeah, it just grew massively with 8 teams in total. 2 pitches on the day, and it was brilliant. We were able to raise a bit of money for a local charity, and everyone got game time, and it was a really, really good day.
And I think you told me at the time, Caroline, not everybody who played had actually played before. These are people that were introduced to the sport late.
Yeah, we had a good mix. Like Clann Eireann had a team in as well, so you had Denise Hagan and different girls lining out who obviously have massive careers behind them. Yeah. But then you have other teams who, most of our girls, especially in Eire Og, have never played football before. So just a real good mix, and it's a real social bit of fun. Try not to be too competitive, as hard as it is, but it's just all a bit of crack.
Sinead, does that keep people together as well? I mean, as far as the community is concerned, gets the girls together, gets them sense of belonging.
Well, look, I'm not going to say too much, but I know that women are the backbone of most clubs, so they're the organising head of, I find, of a lot of clubs. They don't probably get the credit for it, but the Gaelic for Mothers initiative, especially in Armagh, has gone through the roof now this past 12 months. I've been playing it now for 4 years now with Silverbridge, so 4 years ago we were struggling to get challenge games in Armagh with other clubs. Now we're up, I think there's nearly 13 clubs with Gaelic for Mothers, so it's a brilliant initiative because it brings people in who maybe were never involved in GAA or never involved in the club, or maybe aren't from that area and married into the area and want to get involved, or their kids want to play. So the clubs are gaining massive volunteers out of the Gaelic for Mothers as well, so it's a bit like the dads and lads have started now too. So the GAA have followed the LGFA in that initiative, so hopefully they'll get the same sort of interest as well. Maybe it might be a wee bit more competitive than ours, but we had a blitz on Saturday and there was a few fairly hefty tackles now and then, so it is hard to lose the competitive edge when you have played football before, but it's a brilliant initiative, and I'd like to see more clubs doing it, And
eventually will.
Yeah, it should
so
follow
there's 13 in the county playing?
13 at the minute, I think we have clubs wise with the Gaelic for Mothers, and then you go down to the other end of the scale and you've your under 8s and your under 10 and a halves. So we actually had a blitz in Silverbridge 2 weeks ago and didn't have to go outside the county to invite clubs, so we had 20 clubs all from Armagh at under 10 and a half, coming with 20 girls each. There was 360 girls playing football there a couple of weeks ago on the bridge, so the numbers are just going through the roof, which is brilliant, so it's really, really growing, which is it's great to see.
Sinead and Caroline, I'd like to come back to you in a wee second. I want to ask Patrick and Peter here about the ladies game. We're going to talk about the men's stuff very, very shortly. Peter, first of all, the fitness levels. I watched Clann Eireann and Paddy's team, Armagh Harps, last week in David Park, huge pitch, and the level of fitness was unbelievable. It's crazy.
Yeah,
we're so into it.
Well, for clubs like Clann Eireann and Armagh Harps, Eugene, they've been, really to the forefront in ladies football within Armagh now for, it seems like probably the last 15, 20 years. I know Armagh Harps came a wee bit later to the table, but Clann Eireann especially probably had the monopoly on player pick around Lurgan for, up until the last maybe 5 or 6 years. Till other clubs have came along, but they've now got that tradition and the high standards, so those 2 clubs stand out, but Carrickmore have also had a good tradition within Armagh as well. So, but what you're seeing other clubs now, like my own club at home, just the volume of players.
What tones?
At training they would train before us, and you just see the number of young girls out playing, and it's something we've never seen before. It's really only come along the last sort of 2-3 years, but beforehand you're thinking, where was the outlet for them before that? Because if Clann Eireann were the only team in Lurgan really, then they can only really take so many in. So you're seeing it's great for, I suppose, sport and inclusion,
And I'm going to go back in a second, Peter, about the men's. Patrick, your own team, Armagh Harps, were beat by Clann Eireann last Sunday night in the semi-final, but the Harps have won the last 2 championships.
Yeah,
they have a fantastic team. Do you think all the young girls are looking up to people that Sinead's bringing through with the Armagh senior team, who maybe could have won the All-Ireland this year, beat by a very good team? But I mean, all the club players are actually looking up to them now, and they're great models looking forward.
They're great
role models.
Great role models for any of the young girls looking up and wanting to become, and play football for their clubs. The likes of Clann Eireann, your Carrickmore and the Harps have been there this last 5+ years, battling out for the senior championship. So I mean, they're great role models for any of the younger kids, and as you said earlier on, they're great athletes as well.
Unbelievable.
Some of them are just as good, or even better than some of the men.
Yeah.
I know there's some of the girls in the Harps team that we would jokingly say would take in, but on a more serious note, that fit right in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of them they're like Kelly Mallon and Aoife and that dangerous forwards. So it's credit to the time and the dedication that they put into their own game.
And the Harps have been going for quite a number of years, like Clann Eireann, like Croppin. So it's great to see all the junior teams and intermediate teams doing so well as well.
Well, look, those senior teams that do get a bit more of the spotlight, it sort of filters down on the junior team. It gives them that sort of self-belief that they want to go and emulate that and make their own club to try and push on to get further up the ranks.
Okay, Patrick, come back in a second. Sinead, any tips, any predictions for the big games on Sunday? You want to probably sit on the fence, but I mean,
I have to sit on the fence because my sister's the captain of Carrickmore, so she's laying out at centre half back, and so like our family's a bit of a penny mix-up this past couple of years. So I've one sister in Forkhill, I'm in the Bridge, and the other sister's in Carrickmore, and then my brother's still in Killeavy. So Dad and Mum don't know where to go, but so she's actually captain of Carrickmore, and like and I don't mind saying this, but when you're talking about role models, the likes of herself, Caroline O'Hanlon, both 38 years of age, both fit as fiddles. I just think they are who our young girls need to be looking up to, and they're just exemplary in what they do. Their training, their diet, everything is just perfect. You know what I mean? So they're definitely the likes of Kelly there, who's not as old as Caroline and Sharon, but Kelly Mallon. You've girls there, just the Marleys, the whole lot. You've great people for them to look up to. Clann Eireann are full of legends, so they are. Some great girls, like half the. What, you have 5, maybe 6 of the starting team are all playing for county, so, and there's probably quite a few there that should be playing for county, and hopefully they'll come through. If I was a betting person, which I'm not, Clann Eireann are definitely red hot favourites, there's no doubt about it, but Carrickmore are gritty and they're hard, and I don't think they're just going to be, I just don't think they're going to be that easy of a pushover. I hope it's a good spectacle for the sake of ladies football, because you don't want to whitewash either way. So I think it's going to be a great game of football. It's going to be physical and it's going to be hard, and again it's going to be down to the referee interpretation of rules. I hope the referee lets it go, because these girls are training hard, and it's one thing that I want to see changed is the rule, the tackle rule. It has to change in ladies football, because the training the girls are doing now, they're lifting heavier weights than some of the guys in the gyms. So
are you saying the tackle's not physical enough? Are you saying there should be more contact?
The rule there is there is no contact, which that has to change. There is contact, and it should be allowed, and that's it. These girls are playing football and they're well fit to take it, so that has to change now. Do you know what I mean? So
and it happens naturally, Sinead.
Yeah, happens naturally. Yeah. So, but again, it's down to the interpretation of the referee. So that's the other thing too. Like you'll know after a couple of minutes what you're going to be allowed to do, and that's going to determine the game. I'd say as well. Yeah,
Caroline, intermediate and junior, you played in one of the competitions. It's going to be 2 great finals there as well. So how did your season go, and who do you see coming out of those?
We were unfortunately put out in the semi-final against a really good Clonmore team. So I mean, on paper you probably would have looked at the junior championship as ourselves and Eire Og probably coming into the final. We were in the final last year. Eire Og had won Division 3, but we were both beaten in the semi-final. So it sets up for a really good interest in Darnus v Clonmore in the final. So. I saw both semi-finals, so I obviously played in one of them and went to see the other one. So it could go anyway, really, with the two teams. Derry's had a very strong league campaign, just missed out to St Paul's winning Division 4, so they'll be gunning for it. And yeah, like you said before, Clann Gael's a very big pitch, nice and wide, and it'll hopefully suit. They've a lot of runners in both teams, so fingers crossed it sets to be a good match now on Friday night.
Well, I'll ask you your learned opinion on the ladies' senior final, Clann Eireann against Crossmaglen. So maybe you want to make a prediction. Would you agree with Sinead that Clann Eireann are favourites?
I suppose, I'd say, I'd have to agree with Sinead. Clann Eireann probably go in as favourites. I suppose they'd be fighting to get that cup back very strongly, and they had a very good win against Harps in the semi-final. So I'd say they'll be just really looking forward to the game, and hopefully, like Sinead says, it should be a really good match.
There's a lot of talk. I mean, Sinead would probably maybe hear it less than us. There's a lot of talk about here about Clann Eireann wanting to get the Marie Coy Cup, back again. It seems to be a big motivation factor for them. I know that was really started it all off. I can remember when I was with the Lurgan Mail years ago, and people said women's football will never take off when that Niamh Wura team started off.
The first time,
But it's taken off big time, so it's just front and centre of everything now at the minute.
No, it's massive. And like even Peter had said with the Tones and other clubs like ourselves, we were able to field every age group this year in Eire Og, which is massive for us, you know. And that's just ladies football in general, I suppose, through the county, and it just takes a lot of hard work over the years, and that's just feeding then into future senior teams, you know. So you want that youth coming through. It makes it a lot tougher competition coming into the senior teams, and really pushing on into the divisions. So
excellent. Just Peter and Patrick both. Peter, where's the numbers coming from? For example, what Tones have huge amount of numbers training?
Yeah,
I mean, where are they coming from? Did Camogie take a wee bit of a step back?
Potentially, there's a lot of girls that would be doubling up from what I can see, doing both. Yeah, and it's accommodated between both Tones and Sarsfields, to be fair to them, and they would share facilities and things like that. But you know, realistically, Derry-McKeown is a growing area. A lot of people have moved into the area over the last sort of 10-15 years that wouldn't have originally been from even within the greater Lurgan district. So we're picking up quite a few people from all over due to the easiness of the commute to Belfast and things like that for working purposes. So it's a growing area. It's not the traditional families anymore that would have backboned the club, you know, maybe in the 70s, 80s, early 90s. It's a lot of new fresh names, so the club as a whole is benefiting from that, you know.
Patrick, Armagh City, what way's the Oaks going? Are they operating as long as the Harps as well?
Well, I'm living in Katy this 12 years, so no, but look, the kids, I have two of my own, when they're in school, and just whatever sports their friends are playing, they want to go and try out. They'll come home from school and they'll say, Joey's doing boxing, so they want to go and try it, and our two are now in the boxing over a year now.
In Katy?
Yeah, and two of the girls that were at the boxing with Scarlett have said that they play camogie, and now she's looking to go and try camogie.
Well, my mother's from Tassa, so I need to be careful what I say about it. I'm supporting Granemore this year, I have to, but Katy's always been big for boxing.
Yeah,
it's always been good traditional boxing base.
Well, the club there, the Sean Dorn club in Katy, you know, Sean played for both the Harps and Katy, so he did. So and when he moved fully to Katy, he set up the boxing club there and ran it for years. They've had, I think it's about 5 boxers that have fought at Commonwealth level, winners, like, you know. So it is a very good and very well run club, and it has been around for quite a.
And if Armagh need a goalkeeping coach, you're available.
Well, I'll have to check the calendar, but you know,
see where they are.
Yeah, we can always come to some arrangement, like, you know. So
just Sinead, if you don't mind me asking, Sinead, the Killeen, we call it
Killeen.
The Killeen situation. Can other clubs hire from you? I mean, does any of the clubs train, or is it just specifically a county training ground?
Well, like already now, when the schedule already for November is set up for county trials, and so that's every night of the week, and then your seniors are going to be back training very shortly as well. So at the minute, you know, it's going to be basically county all from right through probably till February. So you know, it's going to be busy every night of the week. We have always said that it's going to be there and available if need be for clubs if they need it. But it's fitting it in. So it's a county training facility at the end of the day. You know, it's a bit like Callan Bridge. You wouldn't be giving Callan Bridge to clubs, you know what I mean?
No, appreciate
because
that.
You know, it's
county first.
It's county first, and that may sound selfish, but that's the reason why we built it.
You don't have the space basically in the ring.
Exactly.
for dates.
You've only one pitch there at the minute, so at
Yeah.
the end of the day, the dream would be further down the line to extend onto that. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I just have to take one step at a time. I try to move too fast, so dream too big maybe. But yeah, so look, it's there. But I mean, at the minute, it's going to be really busy with county
brilliant.
stuff, probably in another 3 or 4 weeks.
Sinead, if you're summing up the county season with the county senior ladies team and the All Ireland, how would you sum it up? There was a successor, obviously. I know you didn't win the All Ireland, but it was a fantastic season all around, to be fair.
Yeah, we had a good season. You know, like I don't take an awful lot to do. I be on the fringes all the time. I'm probably cleaning toilets somewhere when the girls are training or whatever. But I'd love to see what Mickey Savage does be doing when the senior men are training. I know he's not cleaning toilets, but no. But look, I don't mind it. I'm always there. Just if the girls need me or if anything has to be done, I don't be there all the time. But look, there's a very good base there of girls. We do need more players. We need to beef up the bench. I was disappointed in a way, and I know the girls are disappointed. We didn't perform in the National League final. We didn't perform against Kerry in the quarter-final of the Championship. I have no doubt in my mind if we had played Mayo, we would have beat them and we would have been in an All-Ireland final.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out. We're Ulster champions 3 years in a row. Some people, you know, say it's not progress, but it is to a certain extent because, you know, you have to keep up at that performance to keep winning.
Yeah.
But we need to just go that step further and get to that All Ireland final. And I know the stuff's there to do it.
Yeah, you mentioned Caroline O'Hanlon earlier at her age and stuff. Is the quality of players coming in to replace the like of her? Is there good quality?
You have younger players coming up, but you know there's quality's one thing, but you know you also have it's cuteness too. Do you know what I mean? That comes with age and comes with playing for a long time, and you know certain things that you know older players know, and you have to train girls into that. Do you know what I mean? In thinking of that way, but. There's a lot of young talent coming through. There really is, you know. And again, it's because the numbers are rising and girls are getting more competitive with each other, even within their own club setups. So they all want to push each other on, and you know that's only good for the county. So you know the numbers keep going. You know we've 34 clubs now in Armagh playing football. So
good.
You know it's massive. Like you know, like when I remember back when I was playing. A club like in the early late sort of 90s, we won the junior title in 1997 I think for the first time. We beat Crossmaglen. Like our Sharon was playing and she was only 13 but playing senior football, so there was no underage football when I played. That's all there now for these girls, so they're playing against girls their own age, so they're going to obviously stay there longer, and that's what you want. Like.
Yeah, good stuff. So there you go. What about coaches and managers? I mean, has anything been changed over? Have the same people there for next year? Would you like a wee shout out to the senior managers and who's going to be about?
Ronan has stepped away. Ronan was there for 3 years. He stepped away,
Murphy,
and Shane McCormick has now stepped up as Shane was the number 2. He's now number 1.
Is he from County Laois?
He's Kildare.
Kildare man, yes, of course.
He's already shown a massive effort in his research already. He's been up the road now 3 times. He's watched, I think now at this stage, 14 games. He's back booked into the Carrickdale next weekend for to come up and watch the county finals. This weekend for the county finals. So he's doing a lot of groundwork. He's been to junior games. He's been to intermediate games. He really wants to find raw talent out there that maybe you know. It's all right talking and somebody's brilliant and you hear a name and then so I'll take them in and see how they get on. But he's actually going out and looking for them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Which is it's the first time in quite a while that has happened in my time anyway that I have seen. So he's definitely doing the groundwork. There's no doubt about it. And there's a few then obviously from last year that are stepping up. Denise is stepping up in as number 2. Denise is very knowledgeable in ladies football. She's very well got. She's there for Armagh and for the love of football, and I think that's a big thing. That you know, it's not it's not about her and gaining her name or whatever. She wants to win for Armagh, and that's the sort of people we want in the camp.
All the time. Caroline, we mentioned each other's clubs there. We talked about Silver Braes, we talked about Tones and Armagh Harps. Harsh things at Eire Og. I mean, you took quite a few numbers as well.
Yeah, we do. I'm only back into the club. I obviously been away for a long time and come back from Australia and getting back into the club and getting back into playing, and I come back from a cruise ship, so it was one of those things where you didn't know if you'd play or not. But this year particularly, I mean, we fought well. We did miss out on winning Division 3 to a really good Eire Og team, and we obviously were hoping for another final place after losing the junior final last year. So
St Peters.
St Peters after extra time. So disappointing in that way to finish out the year, but at the same time we have a lot a lot of girls coming through. You know, we've minor girls coming out now, playing in another week or two in the minor games. We've underage, like I said, coming through. So the future, should be fairly strong, hopefully, going forward. And we just have to build on that,
And Sinead, you know, you have a bit of a trip in front of you back home to South Armagh again, but we're going to concentrate.
It's not that far away, really.
That was not, no.
I don't live in the mountains, right?
You live in the bridge.
No, I don't. I live in Mike Village, so I'm not too bad.
Like, that's even closer, so you no excuses here for another while.
Yeah.
But there we go. But just summing up, we're going to move on to the issue of Armagh Senior Men's Club Championship very soon with the two lads here in the corner. You're very welcome to stay with us. If you want to throw your neb in there about whatever's happening in the senior stuff. But just to finish off with the ladies section, what can we look out for next year from Armagh? Difficult question.
Look, you don't want to say it too much too soon, but I'd be very hopeful. I think that we're definitely up there in the top 4, and you know, the main ambition would be to get out of Division 2, win that Division 2, and back into Division 1, where we need to be, and we're good enough to be there. It's something again I want to see changing at HQ. I think if you win all your games, you should be automatically promoted. You shouldn't have to win a final to go up to Division 1. We were well up there and should have been probably promoted again, but it didn't happen, so that would be the main aim. Obviously regaining your Ulster title as well, and pushing on then for an All-Ireland, and look, the stuff's there. There's nobody saying they're walking away, so the players are still there. We add into that camp, and it's all good, it's all positive. So I'd be hopeful.
Hopeful.
Look, if you're not hopeful, there's no point in being there.
No,
so
exactly.
You have to be positive about it all too. And they're a great bunch of girls. Like you mentioned, Kelly, Malin, Patrick. Like, she's probably one of the best leaders that I have ever worked alongside. The work that she does off the field is something chronic, even for herself in her own training and stuff. But the stuff that she does for the team as well, that people don't see and people don't know about, is I can tell you there's very few players in the whole country that do what she does behind the scenes, and she deserves all the plaudits. There's quite a few players that are overlooked, and she is probably one of them, that for the efforts that they do on and off the field. So but definitely I'd be hopeful for 2023.
And how do you finish the season, Sinead, with presentation nights and players of the year and stuff? Do you have a big night in the Carrickdale?
We actually have a big county night this year because we've won Ulster titles at all levels. So we won Ulster under 14, under 16, minor, and then the seniors. And obviously with COVID, the past couple of years we haven't had a gathering, so we're actually celebrating 3 years of the senior titles and then those underage titles. So we'll have a county night, and then we probably logistically going to have a club night. We're not going to be able to put the whole lot in the one night. So
have you any dates or anything? No.
The county night we'll have is the 2nd of December, I think. Obviously in the Carrickdale, because they're our main sponsors, and everything we do is based out of the Carrickdale, which is also very handy considering it's only 2 minutes from the pitch as well. So it's great that the girls have the use of the facilities there in the Carrickdale as well. So. And we'll have a club night then, obviously, when we get the minor stuff and all wrapped up, maybe early January or mid-January.
Exhausted?
Sure, look, what do you do? Sure, it's all good,
All good.
Yeah, that's it.
Karen, how do you see next season going with the county? I know you're more or less only back and you're involved with the club, but it's all positive moving forward. I mean, you have someone like Sinead, the driving force of a fantastic committee.
Driving it massively this long time, Sinead, really, haven't you? So from before I was away and back, but I suppose, like she touched on, the underage has been massive success this year. Even like good club men, like we had Fergal Green from Eire Og, Jared Reid, and they're all managing as well the underage teams. And
Jared with the minors.
Jared, minors,
Yes,
and then Fergal with the under 16s.
And they won their All Ireland at their level.
So it's brilliant to see, and at the end of the day, they're girls that are going to be continuing to feed through into the senior team and hopefully continue that success on. It's very, they did miss out, I suppose, on an All Ireland final. So if anything, that's where they'll be gunning and aiming for next year. So. It just brings everybody on and good role models for everybody to look up to.
Excellent. Girls, thank you so much. We're going to move on to the second part, and we'll just wrap it up. That's the Armagh ladies and the Armagh ladies club scene. And Sinead didn't make any predictions about who's going to win any of my finals, so we'll not hold her to any of that. But Sinead, thank you so much, and Caroline, thank you so much. You're very welcome to stay with us, and we're going to have a look at the lads here in the corner and see what they come up with, their predictions for next Sunday and the following week. Thank you so much indeed from your Lurgan.